There are lots of things to discuss in the newest dev stream of Digital Extremes, and for those who have seen it, then probably know by now that there will be huge changes, quality of life improvements, buff and nerfs in the upcoming future content of Warframe. We will tackle them one by one in separate videos for companion, quality of life changes in Warframe, and Hydroid rework. Why discuss it on separate videos when you just can discuss it on one long-ass video? Well, there are lots to talk about beyond what Digital Extremes discussed in the Dev stream. We will try to talk about the possible nerfs and buffs and all the setup, combos and builds that will change upon the arrival of the reworks we have seen in the future. For now, let us see Dagath's abilities and why she is a no-brainer must-have Warframe. Well, the first thing is, I hope that you get the pun about the no-brainer Warframe, since he got no face nor a spot to hold her brains on. But seriously, the Warframe is outstanding based from what I saw in the latest dev stream. Although you can completely see that her abilities are a mix of past Warframes, but still, the combination is quite impressive that I think many Warframe players will enjoy Dagath not just in one mission type alone. From what I saw, she is a complete Warframe with survivability and focus on doing massive damage. Not to mention that her abilities also has defense stripping capability too. The only thing that I was sad is she can't turn into a center just like we anticipated. Well, it was just a wild guess because of the text plastered all over the wiki description saying, "Summon Kai." I did speculate that she can somehow summon a horse as her ability, and based on her aesthetic she is more of a rider-type Warframe, but it turns out that the way she can summon a horse is not the way I expected. But before we get into those details, let's discuss her first ability first. I think this ability is madness. It is called Wired Scythes, and it does a radial attack dealing several hits of viral damage. If you've seen the dev stream, then you would compare it to how Yarili's Aqua Blades works, but the only difference is Dagath's first ability has built-in viral damage already compared to Aqua Blades that you will use primer guns or abilities just to get viral procs. It will be insane when it comes to damage, and I'm kind of curious how wide the radius of this ability. If this will somehow extend to somewhere 15 meters or more, then it will be super busted, and probably I can safely assume right now that this Warframe is more of a caster Warframe, which I truly love playing in the game. So what are caster Warframes? Those Warframes that can spam abilities at will given with the right build, and with ability usage alone, they can kill multiple high-level enemies without breaking a sweat. I say that Dagath is a caster Warframe because she will also have her second ability called Doom, which is a cone attack that curses enemies with Phantom Wrath. The effects are unspecified, but presumably it will be critical focused, and hits from Wired Scythes will amplify the curse effect, and killing affected enemies will spread the curse. The idea is curse enemies with your Doom, then cast and kill enemies with your first ability, then spam the first ability to kill enemies that are Doom and continually kill hordes easily with the damage and curse mechanic. Then when it comes to survivability, Dagath has her third ability called Grave Spirit. This is basically not just for survival but more of a damage and survivability buff, as taking lethal damage while the buff is active will instantly revive you with boosted crit damage for a duration. The only downside though is this has a cooldown similar to how Oberon's Phoenix renewal work. Actually, it's like a combination of Sevagoth's passive that lets you go into phantom mode after receiving lethal damage. Only difference is that it has a cooldown, and I'm kind of skeptical if this survivability alone will be good enough for the Warframe. It's because there are no other survivability or crowd control to support this safety net skill. Probably, we will be relying on damage reduction if the Warframe has good base armor bonus, or we could rely on the shield gating, which is kind of perfect for Dagath since she can spam her abilities without the need of arcane energize. I say this because her passive called Abundant Abyss will give you chance for orbs to be 200% more effective, and mind you, this has no cooldown, and every time you pick up an energy or health orb, it will increase their effectiveness. I'm curious though if Digital Extremes will allow us to press Equilibrium mod with this ability, because if it does, then it will be nuts for Dagath, as she can use it as a good survivability tool and a way to keep her energy without the need of arcane energize. Lastly, let's talk about her ultimate ability called Rakali's Cavalry. I did speculate that this Warframe will have a cavalry type ability wherein she will rush through the enemies, but I never thought that the Summon Kaith would be her ultimate ability mixed with a cavalry mechanic I have thought. Basically, what this skill does is summon a stampede of Kais that will defense strip enemies in a wide line. It deals damage and strip the armor and shield of enemies, by the way. So basically, Dagath has critical damage buff, has viral damage in her first ability, has a debuffing mechanic, and able to strip defenses. A complete offensive warframe, but somehow, I don't know if it will be very effective against high-level enemies because the warframe lacks utility, or more specifically, a way to group targets, so we would be using something like Magus Anomaly to group targets before we defense strip them with her fourth ability and finish them, by applying the Doom debuff and casting our first ability last. There's really nothing special about this warframe in my opinion, just like Voruna that has condition overload mechanics. Well, Voruna was not the first, as it was Lavos who is the OG of condition overload. I know that there is the option to use Helminth system for Dagath, and I could see Ensnare as a perfect fit, replacing her third ability and just relying on the invisibility of either Shade Prime's Ghost Augment or the Stalk mod from your Kubra. This will allow you to group enemies in place, cast your Doom, strip defense with your fourth, and then kill them with your first. Rinse and repeat the process until you are bored enough to use the warframe. Honestly, I have the same setup with Protea, and also with Gaia, so this kind of warframe is nothing new to me. The good thing about Dagath, though, is she is a complete warframe when it comes to dealing damage. I see Dagath a good offensive warframe judging from her skills, but her skill set is not unique and she's virtually an upgrade of older warframes in my opinion. Still, I'm interested on min-maxing the build for this warframe because it got lots of potential to be fun in high levels. And by the way, I'm just mentioning the skills and the basic way to build and combo her abilities. I haven't mentioned yet weapon synergy, which I think Dagath will have a lot, since it got a debuffing skills and a way to strip defenses. Not to mention that critical damage buff is also in the mix, and I can't wait to test how massive red crit numbers can get with this warframe. By the way, the warframe can be acquired through abyssal beacons sold by the syndicates, a sort of treasure map which you can use in a mission that is an exterminate with a twist. You will then collect the new Vainthorn resource, used to build her parts, and go to Dagath's Hollow. A new dojo room allows the clan to replicate her blueprints along with Dorklave Melee. The best part is, there's no research step and you can instantly access it with the room. So that's it for now. Let me know your thoughts about the new upcoming warframe. Please give this video a like and subscribe to help support the channel. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Squad Leader signing off.